The reality of using steroids. So I've been pretty open about the fact that for the past 3 years or so, I've been using steroids to push my physique to the next level. In fact, I've been pretty open about it. You know, I always talk about it both in here on the videos and on Instagram and everything. So I have nothing to hide. I have my reasons for doing it, of course. But I generally don't really feel the need to mention them or just justify it in any way to people. Because one, it's none of their business, really. It's my body. I can do whatever the fuck I want. My body, my choice, right? And two, because the kind of people that might judge me for it have never really looked anywhere near as good as me even before I was on steroids, like not even close. So their opinion means literally nothing to me. So why bother? That said, I still like to talk about like the realities of taking them. One, just to kind of spread awareness, but also like, you know, there might be some people who follow me / watch me who might be considering joining the dark side. And I just want to make sure they understand fully what it is they're getting themselves into and make that a informed decision, a conscious informed decision rather than some emotional one. So like, what's the point? I'm just going to go and get like shit like that. Because it's not something that should be taken lightly. Because once you start, you're pretty much in it for life. So make sure you think about it. Now, I'm not really in this video, I'm not really gonna talk about much about the physical side effects, because those are like very well documented and they're talked about everywhere. Like I'm just gonna mention some small stuff. You know, the basic stuff, you know, hair loss, fertility drop, acne, some organ health stuff, shit like that. You know, again, those are like the expected physical ones. You're not going to have all of them. Every person's different. Some people have some people have none. Like, you know, I have zero problems with my organs and stuff. One, because I'm smart about it, which is I'll talk about in a minute. But also, I don't know, I just respond well. My blood work has improved since going on steroids, not gotten worse. I don't really get acne. I got it in the beginning, but not as much. After my fertility, I have no idea. Probably it's down. Definitely losing hair, clearly. But it is what it is. But look, I also, again, it's discussed everywhere. There's so many videos everywhere. So like, there's no point making my own quick Google search, or I guess ChatGPT these days will just give you everything you need. But more importantly, you can actually, if you're smart about it, you can minimize almost all of the side effects physically if you're intelligent enough to do it in the right way or in a safe way, right? Rather than just doing what a lot of guys do, especially if they're young, they just go, I'm just gonna fucking throw a kitchen sink about it. 1,000 tests, 1,000 this, like fucking going into grams straight away. Yeah, you're gonna have a bad time. Like a really bad time, because you're being a fucking idiot about it. I have 2 examples that I've personally seen. Like, obviously there's so many more. But first one was like a fucking 14-year-old kid just messaged me on Instagram one day. He's like, bro, I need help. I'm like, what's up? He goes, I just injected 1,000 milligrams of test and my balls disappeared. I'm like, first of all, you're fucking 14. Why the fuck are you doing test? You do it in 10 years time minimum. Secondly, why the fuck are you doing a gram straight away? And 3, why are you 1 fucking injection? Even someone who is on a lot of gear, and I am over a gram now, you have it split into daily doses throughout the week. You don't do it all at once. And you also never ever do 1,000 milligrams of test. Like, that's fucking tits territory. A basic test. More on that later. So that was just, you know, it is like this. We just jump into it knowing no idea what's going on. And second one is just full, just like your typical stereotypical gym bro, meathead idiot. And I have plenty of those in my gym. But there's one in particular, like you could, like his acne was so bad. He had it on his, like not just on his back. It was on his chest, arms, everywhere. Because he was being so fucking stupid with it. Both the compounds he was taking, the amounts he was taking, the frequency he was taking. He was never taking time off like doing the health phases because you're supposed to be doing. No cruises, no nothing, just blasting all the time. He was fucking reusing needles. That's beyond stupid. You're just gonna fucking die from infections and shit. Like, what the fuck are you doing? So it's just idiots like this. And like all of the horror stories that you have seen / heard, like, on YouTube, Instagram, whatever, every single one of those is just retards like this. They have no idea what they're doing. They have no education on the matter. They don't have a coach at all, or their coach has no idea what he's doing either. Just throwing drugs at the problem, and that's the result. But any bodybuilder who knows what he's doing and like has done some research, none of them have those kind of issues. None. Hair loss, sure, can't help it. But like the rest is fine because we're not stupid. So all of these horror stories that you have heard, understand it's not because of the drugs, it's because people are fucking retarded. All right? So just wanted to put that out there. Now, couple of side notes. If you as a person have a problem with needles, don't even bother. All right? Because you will be doing this pretty much every day. So if you have a problem with needles, this shit ain't for you. And don't even start like, oh, I could do orals. No, you will fucking die. All right? Orals, you do 8 weeks, and then you need minimum 8 weeks off and so on because your liver is literally being killed off. That's why we inject, to bypass the liver. So if you just take orals, you will die. So don't bother. If you can't deal with the needles like a big boy, don't do this. What I want to talk about mainly is the emotional / psychological side effects of this thing, because those are worse. Like, again, different people, different reactions. Some people deal with it really well. Some people deal with it terribly. Some people, funnily enough, exactly the same as the guy with the terrible acne and stuff who was being retarded with it. Think of it as like when you're drunk. It's not that it brings out of you some random, when you're an asshole as a drunk, it's not because you're drunk. It's because you're an asshole and it's been highlighted because you're drunk. Like, it just brings up to the foreground what you already are. The drugs are the same. If you're a cunt, you will be a raging cunt. Simple as that. It does come at a cost, and like, despite what the uneducated retards on the internet try to tell you, taking steroids is not just an easier way an easier way to get the same results. That's fucking bullshit. That's not even close. All right. For starters, nothing about this is easier. Nothing. Yes, you might be recovering faster than a natty, but if you recover faster, it just means you have to train again sooner. So you have to do more volume and more frequency than a natty because you recover faster. So you have to train even more and even harder. So that's not easier. And yes, food-wise, you might like process more protein thanks to the drugs, so you can grow more. But that just means you have to eat more, which doesn't sound bad, if you're used to dieting. But if you've gone through a bulk that's been a long term and stuff, you know what it's like. You know that it's much worse than dieting because you have to keep shoving food down your throat even when you really don't fucking want to. And now you have to do even more if you're on the drugs. Like, when I was a natty, I could just get a fucking box of cereal as a post-workout to get the calories in, and I was golden. Nope, can't do that now, because if I do it on drugs, because your body is much more sensitive to everything, it will fucking kill me. Like, I will get brutal acne, I will get like just bloating, I will feel like shit, my digestion will be out of whack. So I have to keep it clean. And getting fucking full 5,000 calories of clean food is not funny. It's just not. So something to consider as well. Also, funnily enough, even though you're technically gaining more in the same time, it does make things slower because you can't bulk for as long as you normally would. As a natty, I could go a year-long bulk and be fine. But on drugs, you can't do that. Because you have to, you can do 12, maybe 16 weeks at a time, and then you have to take a break, bring the drugs down, take a cruise for at least 6 weeks, and just kind of maintain. Because if you keep going, again, you will die. You can't be on so many drugs for so long without severe health issues. So you just do 3-4 months and then you cut it and then you have to wait and then you can go again. So it kind of like prolongs the process, one. And two, because you kind of maintain it a lot in between, you have to sit at the uncomfortable weight where you hate how you look and eating all this food for longer periods of time. And also for periods where like you kind of not really seeing any progress because you're just the same for 6 weeks, but you're still miserable. So you're the same miserably for 6 weeks. And then you can go again. Whilst as natty, you can kind of just keep progressing. So it becomes more like a sprint than a marathon. You sprint, but then you have to rest. And then you sprint, and then you rest. Whilst with the natty, you kind of just like keep running. So that's no fun. But I think the worst aspect of this whole thing by far, at least for me, because again, different people react differently. Some people handle it better, some people don't, is the emotional aspect of the whole thing. I am, funnily enough, as much as it may not seem on the outside, because I'm very good through decades of practice with emotional regulation. I don't really let out emotions to be seen as much. Like I control them internally. But when my drugs are high, which they are right now, it becomes a fucking emotional roller coaster dealing with it. Because look, what are steroids? They're hormones in a bottle, pretty much. And what do hormones do? They're the ones responsible for your mood and your emotional state. So you're basically just injecting fucking emotions and mood, which is, you are creating an unstable environment at best, let's call it, right? I think the best way to describe it is consider how moody women get during the period, right? When they're menstruating. So if you're a woman watching this, you know how moody you get. If you're a guy watching this, you probably deal with women, so you know how moody they get, right? And why do they get moody? Because there's hormonal imbalances happening in the body, like fucking estrogen and progesterone, they all fucking shoot up and then they get moody and shit because they cry all the time and all that stuff. Now imagine this, but 10 times stronger because you have infinitely more hormones in your body, and it doesn't last 3 days, it lasts 3 months straight or 4. So 10 times stronger and 100 times longer. That is what it feels like. You can, and again, this is very dependable on who you are as a person. Some people are just like raging, some people are just like crying all the time. Most people, myself included, because it fluctuates throughout the day and throughout like the week and stuff, and even weeks, because when you start the high dose, like first 3 weeks are kind of okay, then like it kicks in fully, so you get a fucking brutal couple of weeks, more on this later, and then you kind of level out and it's not as bad. But like, you are a roller coaster and it will change like minute to minute. I will literally sometimes, like last night, I shit you not, and I hate admitting this, but last night I cried watching a cooking show, okay? Cooking show. I was crying. I don't even remember why. But like, because your hormones are so out of whack, it's just like you just start crying watching a fucking TV bullshit. And then you get angry. And you go from crying to angry to fucking depressed to melancholic to, I don't know, laughing at something to raging again within like 10 minutes. That's the reality of it. And it fucks with you. It's not something I struggle with during like a cut or a maintenance, because like the dosages are quite low and they're relatively stable. Plus, again, I do handle these things quite well externally. It's just the box when like the drugs go 10x of what it is during maintenance. Well, not 10x, that's ridiculous. 5x of what it is during like a cruise, and it just becomes a whole different ball game. And it's just like controlling your brain is hilarious. Like you kind of, I saw someone talk about this. It's like you're like in a boat in an ocean in a storm, and it's just like fucking tossing you around. And you kind of have to go with it. You can't be like, oh my God, I can't move, I need to be stable, because you never will. So you just kind of like roll with it. Just like, ooh, okay, I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm crying. Like you deal with it. The main thing is just to like not let it out on other people, right? You can't just like be snapping at people angrily because they're breathing too loud, which can happen. Or whatever, like it doesn't fucking matter what's going on in you hormonally. And funnily enough, I believe this even with women, fight me, I don't give a fuck. It's not my problem that your hormones are out of whack. It is your responsibility to contain it and to regulate it. And it's the same thing, okay? It is not the job of people around me to regulate my emotions, okay? I chose to inject myself with this shit. I'm doing this voluntarily, so it's my job and my responsibility to handle it accordingly. If you can't control yourself, don't fucking do it, all right? If you're just snapping at people and shit, you're clearly not meant for this, so just don't do it. So it is your responsibility no matter what. And personally, for me, I have found that the worst time is week 4 and 5, as I mentioned. 3 weeks, the high dose fully kicks in, and then it gets into the system, and I have like 2 weeks, one is like unstable as fuck. And then it stabilizes and it's fine. But like those 2 weeks are really, really bad. I cannot just like, I have a rule for myself after, yes, I have learned this the hard way, sadly. But I have a hard rule that during those 2 weeks, I don't make any decisions, like any life decisions, any big decisions. I ignore every thought, every emotion, because it does lead to stupid decisions. I have done that. I have ruined relationships over this, multiple. Basically every time I've walked until now. This year is the first time I've handled it properly because I've noticed the pattern. I was like, I need to be on this. I need to be self-controlled. So, yeah, I don't make any decisions, and at best, I even try to keep my contact with people to absolute minimum as much as possible. It might seem excessive, but I just like to play it on the safe side, and I just want to avoid unnecessary conflict because it can get that bad. Okay, now that's basically it. And I've prattled a bit. Again, I'm just only out of week 5 as I'm recording this, so allow it. We'll see how much sense this makes once I edit this. But the moral of the story is, if you are considering doing this, just make sure you do enough research of what you're actually getting yourself into. And once you do it, do it intelligently, but also under supervision. But also don't pay too much attention on what's going on inside your own head. It's gonna fuck with you, and you just kind of have to do it. You have to let it do its own thing. Otherwise, you will go fucking insane. You will. So, yeah. And again, I'm making this end of week 5. So if this doesn't make any sense, that's why. Anyway, that's it for today. It was a little bit of a longer one, but I hope it might have been helpful to anyone. In next week, I'm going to talk about my entire fitness journey, all 17 and a half years of it at this point, from day 1 all the way to today. Every single year, what happened, pictures of what I looked like at the time. And it's going to be a bit hard to find the first ones, but later down the line, I have a lot more. So you'll see everything, what I looked like at the time, weight was, what I was dealing with, and that kind of stuff. So tune in for that.